EFX Motions is the latest effect plugin from Arturia. They describe it as a creative movement shaper. What does that mean? Well, it's a rhythmic multi-effect, a bit like Cable Guy's Shaper Box. Still none the wiser? Let's just take a look at it, shall we? So, EFX Motions is a rhythmic multi-effects from Arturia. It's very, very powerful. There's really a lot going on here. Let's take a quick overview of the interface before we start listening to how it sounds. So you've got some macro controls here. These can be assigned to anything with these little doobries down here. And then you've got a multi-band filter, and you can use this to determine what part of the signal is going to get processed. Then you have your pretty straightforward output, dry wet controls there, and then we get to the motion editor, where this is really where I feel the magic happens. You've got 5 different effects here: filter, noise, drive, volume, and pan, and these all have their own kind of motion envelope where you can use to create a lovely curve. But it's not as simple as that, because look, in the trigger section you can trigger this via the clock, so it just like rolls around and around. Then you've got an envelope sequencer, so you can kind of like step sequence it and create trance gates and stuff like that. Then you've got Euclidean, which uses ancient Greek mathematical magic to create different sort of rhythms in there, but it's basically the same sort of thing as the envelope sequencer, really. Then you have the transient detector, right? Then you've got a MIDI trigger, and not all. You also have a dynamics input, so this is kind of like an envelope follower. So it's all a bit much. Let's calm down for a second and just look at how the most basic operation of this stuff works. So we can draw an envelope here. In fact, before we do that, let's listen to a nice pad that we're going to be working with. Lovely stuff. Okay, let's create a curve. Let's have snap on, for goodness sakes. We want to be tempo synced, surely. So you get the idea, yeah? And there's a bunch of pre-built shapes, which is pretty nice as well. Also, there's a bunch of different draw modes. So let's put some all very cool. Also, it's important to note that you can, you know, as you'd expect, put a curve there. So yeah, look, you can really go wild and create just a big a big combination of stuff. So let's go for something simple now. In the filter section, so this is the section that is related to the specific effects that we're working with. So you have, you know, your regular controls like the cutoff, the motion. So this controls the modulation depth of the motion envelope. Let's turn up some resonance here. Now the dynamics control relates to the envelope follower. That's not really going to sound great with like a pad sound, but we'll come back to it later. But you can hear that it's, you know, using an envelope following, we're getting a bit of, you know, a bit of roughness in there. That'll work better with a drum beat, or in a different way with a drum beat, so we can come look at that later. So, what else is happening is that there's a huge amount of filter types here, like really tons and tons and tons. And these sound lovely, as you'd really hope these days, but let's check out some of the different types. Let's go for some, let's crank that resonance, because that's really going to be what makes it sound cool. All pretty good. Got some MS-20 stuff going on here. Well, if I select a filter there. Oh yeah, okay. Oh my lord, okay. Okay, let's calm it down, guys. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's sounding nice. Yeah, we got a real brutal, like real kind of like brick wall filter here that doesn't have a resonance control. But it sounds cool. And then we've got some, like, I guess these are all pass. Oh no, they're like a kind of like, yeah. Almost like cone filtery sort of things going on. Oh, feedback, yes please. Yeah! And then you've got your stuff like you've got a rate there, so that's how quickly the motion envelope moves. And you can offset it to give yourself some cool stereo stuff. And look, You can see that, you know, it's all illustrated visually in a lovely, lovely way. So let's move on to the noise section, which sounds pretty boring. Don't worry, it's pretty interesting. So we're mixing in some noise here. It's white noise, the most boring kind of noise, but very useful. But there's other types of noise too. Bit crushed insects, that classic. A bubble freak. Why wouldn't you want a bubble freak? Let's just have a listen to these. There we go. Digital fountain, and you can, you know, muck about with this stuff. Oh, the tuning is actually pretty important here. So you can create all kinds of rhythmic stuff. And what you can do, if you're clever, you can use the dynamics to kind of trigger these kind of sounds. So, look, there's so much going on here. It's really, really kind of mad. Let's go for drums. Let's have a nice 808 cowbell. We're going to have this, I guess, triggered by the envelope follower. God knows what this is going to sound like. Oh my lord. Okay. That's sounding like a nightmare. Don't worry. We'll look at some presets later that do some really interesting stuff with that. Moving on. Let's have a look at some drive, yeah. Oh, okay, noise. We've had enough of you. We're going to turn the noise and the filter off. We just want to focus on the drive at the moment. And I'm only going to be very gentle with this drive because we're working with a lovely pad sound here. I don't want to destroy it. But yeah, you can get some roughness in there. Again, oh my lord, there's a ton of different, you know, modes and stuff. And yes, of course, you can create an envelope or trigger it or do a step sequence or one of these many other things. So, you know, you get the idea with that. Ooh. We'll see some more of that later. Volume, extremely boring, incredibly useful if you want to do stuff like you know, kind of transient shaping on a loop or some kind of a drum beat or something like that. You know, great for creating sidechain stuff. You can trigger it with MIDI. You could trigger it with the volume envelope input, all that sort of stuff or whatever. This one's, you know, pretty straightforward. Thank goodness. Okay, pan again. Nothing that's going to terrify you. We're just going around in the stereo panorama. Dry bass, I guess that makes the bass mono, which is pretty cool if you want to keep your bass mono. Okay, that's enough of that. Now, as well as the 5 main effects, there's the beat repeat section where you have this flipping step sequencer which does loads of different things. And you've got 2 other multi-effects, which is, they've just got so many effects in here. I mean, this is really nuts, guys. There's so much going on. Look, if you want a quote-unquote Swiss Army knife to do all your effect stuff, I mean, I feel like this has got to be the most beefy effects I think I've ever seen. We'll not worry about those for a second. Let's do some step sequence and stuff before we lose our minds. So let's okay, we'll shorten this so that we're not having to wait around. So we've got some cool roll stuff. I like that. Now you can tie these. Oh, I guess that's going to make, that one's going to be, you know, rolling, decaying out from this note to this note. That's cool. And we can change the amount of decay. That's all very good. Can we get rid of these? Yes, we right click on them. Reverse is cool. It's not going to work super well with this sound, but you know, it reverses. Oh my goodness. It reverses stuff. Okay, pitch. Now, you can pitch down with this, not up. But you know, if you want to make a... I mean, with this sound, it's a bit much, but you get the idea. Lots of pitch fun. Then there's stretch, which I guess is like pitch shifting. And there's a bunch of different modes. So many modes, so many effects. You know, just try not to have a panic attack when you're using it is my advice. Okay, that's enough of that. And then we've got a tape stop effect, which is cool. So let's try some of the different. Yeah, fun stuff. so we'll turn that off. Let's have a look at some of these other effects. Reverb. You know what a reverb is? It's one of those. Doesn't it sound nice? Lovely. Delay. Yeah. Is that really doing much? No, let's have some more. Yeah, there we go. Okay, what else? Tape echo. More similar sort of stuff. Oh, yeah. Oh, lovely. PS delay. PS, I love you delay. Unison. I love it when you have unison as effect in plugins. It's sick. Listen to that. Yeah, cool stuff. Chorus, always handy. Get some stereo in there. Yeah, let's rank up the feedback. Oh my goodness, tons of fun. I mean, you can't really muck about with these effects in quite the same way as you can the sort of main stuff, but still very useful and powerful. Okay, that's a phaser. Yet more distortion. You know, please, Lord of mercy. Bit crusher. There you go. Down sampling. We'll add some aliasing in there. Having a good time with some high ends. Then more dynamics, multi-band. I mean, it's really like they've chucked the whole kitchen sink at this, but it's like a kitchen sink a posh lady would have in a lovely kitchen, so it's nice. Yet more filters and EQ. Yeah, why wouldn't you put an EQ in there? And that's basically another one of those. And you can rearrange these, and you can rearrange the order of these. You also have the advanced section down here, which is where you can assign your macros. If you want to do that, you go do. There, we've assigned a macro, and now look, that's going to make that wobble around. And you also have these kind of auxiliary modulation generators. Let's see if we can get rid of that, and we'll just assign this to the cutoff. I'm going to turn that down, turn that up, turn the modulation amount up. Okay, so now we've assigned this random kind of step sequencer to the filter cutoff. We should hear some nice sample and hold style filter movements. Yeah, there we go. Let's emphasize that with some resonance. There you go. All cool stuff. Also, you have a step sequencer. Very nice. You can smooth this out and make it all wispy sounding, which I quite like. And you can, it's not going to be very apparent, but oh yeah, you can add some swing. Then there's a function, which is just yet another envelope, basically. I mean, if you like envelopes, you're in the right place, guys. Then, and another envelope follower. So again, this is, you know, even this has got a sidechain input, so you can really go bananas. And if all of that is stressing you out, hey, you can just turn it all off. Well, make it disappear with the advanced button. So clearly there's an enormous amount going on under the hood in EFX Motions, and I feel the best way to get an idea of what it's capable of is to listen to some presets so you can hear how everything can work in conjunction together. So let's listen to some of those presets. Okay, I've got some of my favorite presets here and some sounds to try them out with. You can bring up, oh lordy, all of the presets in the all preset section. And let's try a bit of backing vocals here. That's very much putting me in mind of a specific pad off the EMU Orbit 990. So that's getting some brownie points from me right there. So next, let's go for the bass breaker. Let's try that with a bass line. Sounds like a good idea. So yeah, we've got some distortion going on there. This is how the loop sounds. Try, and you know, we're using the multi-band filtering here to create some filthy top end. Now, one I particularly enjoyed was contagious laughter. So let's try that with our pad. So what this is doing is using the group laugh sound in the noise, and that's, I guess that's being triggered with Yeah, just the clock or whatever. Pre-twisted. Let's try that with a beat. So let's play this beat. Yeah. So, you know, if you want to feel like you're losing the plot, you can play with that. So then we have the Death. Oh, look at this, so many presets. So let's go for the Death Stranding preset that we have here, wherever that lives. There we go. So this makes you feel like you're wandering around a surreal, abandoned, craggy landscape, I guess. I mean, transformative is one way that you could describe this. Oh my, yeah. Crazy monsters, weird babies. It's everything you could ever hope for. Okay, let's go for a bit of, oh no, let's go for Deconstructor here, I think. That'll be down here. Let's see what this sounds like on the pad. Oh, cool stuff. So is that? Yeah, that's a bunch of nuts filtering going on. And a lot of these, you know, effects use the beat repeat in interesting, creative ways. So hey, if you don't want to spend the rest of your life doing a PhD on EFX Motions, you can still get quite a lot out of it. So let's go for the I think preset next here, wherever that lives. Oh, I thunk, I should say. Again, lots of beat repeat shenanigans. Yeah, very interesting indeed. And then we'll go for input a saw. Now I am not going to put a saw into this. Let's try on a bass line. So yeah, this is creating like a beat basically, and it's using some clever noise, volume and filter modulation to do that. No, that's not really doing anything for us. Never mind, let's forget about it and move on to lush random resonances. What's going on here? Don't know what to tell you, it's some lush random resonances. Let's put it on a pad. Ooh. Ooh. Good lord. I would say a lot of these filter modes can do some crazy self oscillation, so you know. Yeah, lovely. Okay, how about we take a drink from the magic bottle? Let's go for a pad. Oh, lovely stuff. Very transformative. And I also liked its little buddy, Magic Pad. Just beautiful stuff. Oh, PS delay, pitch shifter delay. It's obvious when you think about it, really. Okay, so let's go for music reverse. Now, what's going to happen when we put this on a bass line? Let's find out. Very sinister. Techno vibes there. Let's try that on some beats. Yeah! Taking you back to the old school. Yeah, good stuff. So let's go for the neuralizer here. Hold on to your flipping brain cells. So yeah, clearly there's some kind of modulation going on here. I guess it's this. Okay. So you can okay, so you can assign all this stuff to this, so you don't even need to use the regular envelopes to have some crazy modulation. Oh lord, okay, that's enough of that. Almost too powerful. It's gone mad with power. Okay, over the top riser, I remember liking this one a lot. It's just great stuff. You know, you can you can use the macros to adjust the effects. So what this is good for is, if you want to create a swell or a build-up or a transition or something in your music, you don't want to put a really obvious rising sound there, you can put a bit of this on there instead and kind of use your existing elements to make a cool sound. So let's go for Kwaku Bay, is that? So again, we've got the group laugh coming in there, combined with some lovely beat repeating. Isn't that nice? Lots of fun stuff for very little effort on my part, which I enjoy. So Reworker was a cool one. Let's check that out. Yeah, I mean, again, using some clever beat repeating stuff. Good stuff. That's a lot of fun. And then Riser Maker. Guess what this one does? I think it's going to make a riser for us. Let's hope so. Let's pad this up. Okay, let's try that on a bass line. Okay. Pretty similar, so you know. Oh, good stuff. And you know, we're getting a bit of rhythm in there with a beat. So yeah, what else can we look at? Self-os FX, I did mention. There was some cool self-oscillation in here. Let's check that out. Yeah. So we've got the MS-20 filter here. Let's change it to the high pass. That's nice. Let's high pass the bass line. Lord knows what this is going to sound like. Cool stuff. So skedaddle. Yeah, filter funk in your trunk. Very, very fun indeed. Let's go for the, is that a trillionths gate, I believe? Let's check this out. That's some fun stuff. Let's try that on the pad. There you go. So you're injecting some triplets artificially into your stuff there. Guess that doesn't work too well with a bass line, but hey, it's not the end of the world. And let's finally have a bit of unsynced pad enhancer. Let's enhance that pad. Sounds very nice. Airy and floaty, helping you fit your pads into the mix. So there we go. But there's a couple of other things I'd like to chat about as well. So in terms of using this plugin in real time, it's reporting a 56 sample 1.3 milliseconds latency, which is fine, whatever. I'm using like a, let me check out my buffer size here. So, okay, so we've got 128 samples on my i7 Mac from 2018, and when we activate the plugin, it is jumping up to 5%, but it's only 128 buffer size, so that doesn't really concern me. What I find more concerning is, and this is an issue that you'll encounter with plugins like this, Shaperbox and LFO Tool, is that I think this is specific to Ableton Live, but if you add a plugin before it, it'll start to offset the timing of it. So let me demonstrate this. So if we play this at the start of the chain, you can see that the kicks in this loop are occurring on the beat in the envelope. That's how you want it to be. If we move this instance of Soothe 2 before it, the latency causes a delay there, so you can see that the kicks are coming in off the beat. So I would strongly suggest, if you're using this in Ableton Live, you want that at the start of your effects chain, basically. An alternative that you can use with those other plugins I mentioned, certainly Shaperbox, is to trigger them with MIDI, and then you won't have those kind of latency-based issues. But that's just a little something to bear in mind. So, EFX Motions is a cool plugin. It's very powerful, it's nice to use, it sounds great, and there's just tons and tons to get your teeth into. It's also reasonably priced at €99, and there's a launch discount to €79. As usual, there's a demo to try out, so if it's piqued your interest, I'd definitely recommend investing some time checking it out.